morning, friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Medical Classes by Dr. Srinidhi Kumar Acharya. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and also please give your valuable comments. My dear friends, you can also visit my playlist. In the playlist, I have provided almost all the topics so far we have discussed in a very systematic fashion. Now, friends, in the last class we are discussing about the first part of the fetal development. Previously we have seen the fertilization and now the first part of the fetal development is over. Today we will continue the same. Now in the last class we have seen that by the end of third day or on the fourth day, usually the morula which is formed, so that will come into the uterine cavity and floats there, and thereafter it will stick with the outermost layer of the endometrium. Now what actually happens is when there is ovulation, as we know, during the time of the ovulation itself, the changes will going to take place in the uterus. Now uterus endometrium, so that undergo the changes and there will be formation of the three layers: compact layer, spongy layer, and as well as the basal layer. Basal layer will always remain there only. The compact, upper compact and as well as the middle spongy layer will be there. Now this particular change starts as soon as the ovulation takes place in order to receive the fertilized ovum in case if it is get fertilized. If it is not fertilized, then this uterine endometrium will going to shut up in the form of the menstrual flow. Now on the 14th day of the ovulation which occurs, and it will go into implant after 6 days. Usually if at all the ovulation is taking place on the 14th day, mostly after 6 days it will go into implant in the uterus, so that is around 90th or 20th day of the cycle. So on the 20th day, as we know, the remains of the follicle produces a corpus luteum, the remaining portions of the Graafian follicle, so that will go into produce the corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum will go into produce a lot of progesterone. So once there is a lot of progesterone, means it will go into maintain the pregnancy. Small amount of the estrogen is also there, but a lot of progesterone, so that will always have a significant role in maintenance of the pregnancy. Now in case if the fertilization takes place, the corpus luteum which is present there, so that will not be get wasted, rather it will now start producing the progesterone, and as a result pregnancy will be maintained. Now if you want to see the changes which occurs in the uterine endometrium at the time of the implantation, so this table is quite useful. Now if you see the different phases of this particular ovulation, just like pre-ovulation, then ovulation, and then post-ovulation. Pre-ovulation means 1 to 14 days, ovulation means 14 to 16 days, and post-ovulation means after ovulation, 16 to 28 days. So this table is quite helpful. In the pre-ovulation phase, that means before the ovulation, actually what happens is there is increased levels of the FSH and also LH, luteinizing hormone and follicular cell stimulating hormone. Okay, so during the ovulation period, that is between 14 to 16 days or 17 days sometime, FSH and the LH which are there, so sudden surge will be there. There will be sudden surge of this FSH and LH, and post-ovulation period, after that means this FSH and LH is very important for the ovulation. Once the ovulation occurs, there is no role of FSH and LH, then start decreasing. That means after ovulation, post-ovulation period, there is a decrease in the FSH and as well as the LH level. So this is one thing which happens in the hormonal level. Okay, therefore in the post-ovulation, suppose if the fertilization takes place, the corpus luteum produces a lot of progesterone and pregnancy will be maintained. And if it is not there, okay, there is no progesterone and there is no FSH and LH also. Now what happens in the follicular stage? In the pre-ovulation follicular stage, the follicles start now developing. Okay, so in the ovulation period, the follicles going to develop, and as a result one of the ovum is get released, and in the post-ovulation period there will be secretory stage. Now what happens in the blood? In the blood during the pre-ovulation period, 1 to 14 days pre-ovulation period, so there will be increased estrogen level, estrogen plus 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 plus. Okay, so highly increased estrogen level will be there. It's quite obvious. Okay, FSH and LH will be increased. Okay, in the post-ovulation period, if you see, the estrogen level will going to fall. Estrogen is little less, but progesterone is plus 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 plus. Progesterone is highly increased because this progesterone is produced by the corpus luteum. In the pre-ovulation period, if you see, there will be proliferation in the endometrium of the uterus because there is a intimation that ovulation takes place in few days. So now uterus start preparation. So as a result, there is proliferation starts in the uterine endometrium. What happens in the post endometrium is a proliferated endometrium become more and more vascular and secretory with the development of glandular structure. So during the post ovulation period, this particular endometrium which is started to develop, so that becomes more thicker, more vascular and more secretory in case the pregnancy occurs, that means the fertilization occurs, so that is ready for that. And if the fertilized ovum is not coming there for the implantation, then one day, that is usually at the end of the period, so this will go into shut up. This whole content of this endometrium going to shut up. So these are in short about the changes which is taking place in the endometrium at the time of implantation. Now what actually happens in the implantation? So this implantation takes on 16th day. Suppose you say that in the 16th day there is ovulation, and in the 16th day there is a formation of the fertilized zygote. Zygote is formed. Now this zygote will come and reaches the uterus by maximum 5 or 6 days. Okay, 5 or 6 days. So 16 plus 6, that's somewhere around 22. So on 22 days, okay, so uterine endometrium is expecting something to come, and it is coming, it is well and good, and it will receive it and give all the protections. And if it is not coming, this endometrial content will shut up in the form of the menstrual flow. Now this is a change which occurs in the zygote. On the day 1, we know that the zygote will be formed, then there is a mitotic division, the first cleavage occurs, and as a result in the day 2 the first cleavage occurs, then there is a second cleavage which forms the 4 cells, and later there is formation of the morula. Morula will be formed on the day 3. Okay, there will be 16th cell stage, and now once this morula is formed, the outermost cells of the morula will go into form the trophoblast. The inner cell mass will go into form the embryoblast, and trophoblast and embryoblast will be there, and blast, and when it come and get attached to the implanted in the uterus, and the zona pellucosa of the zygote, so that will be get little breaky, and as a result of fluid which is present in the uterine cavity now start entering inside this particular zona pellucosa, enter inside the cavity, and as a result this particular cavity is formed. So now because of this cavity, fluid filled cavity, okay, so what happens is the cells are pushed aside. The outermost cells are pushed to the side, which is called as trophoblast. The innermost cells which are present here, so they are called as embryoblast, and the cavity which is formed in between is called as blastocyst. Okay, blastocyst. This whole structure is also called as blastocyst now. So this is what actually happens at the day 5. Okay, and this particular blastocyst will now come into the uterus, and it is now ready for the implantation. So this is the whole process that you can see starting from the beginning, how the things takes place from the ampulla, how many times it takes place to travel. See, this is the first cleavage. Okay, this is the formation of the zygote, and now this is the morula stage. Then this morula enter inside the uterine endometrium. Okay, perimetrium, endometrium. So like this, 5.5 to 6 days usually the implantation takes place here. Okay, this is the endometrium, outermost layer of a endometrium. So this, in this way you can study this particular aspect. Okay, so next portion we will continue in the next class. Thank you very much.